Hello friends, today's topic is about diagnosis and management of the porphyria. Now porphyria is broadly classified in a two variety, acquired porphyria and congenital porphyria. Now acquired variety, that is generally due to inhibition of particular enzyme. So if you remove that enzyme or remove the factor which are leading to decreased activity of that enzyme, then this acquired porphyria that can be treated or that can be managed. But these porphyria which are congenital, nowadays some gene therapy is tried for this particular hereditary type of the porphyria. Now how to diagnose this particular porphyria, that also we will look in this video. So first we will look about the diagnosis. So whenever there is a porphyria, generally porphyrin level is increased in the blood, and that is also reflected in the urine. So urine sample, they are generally collected in a dark bottle, because whenever it is exposed to the sunlight, the overall quantity that will be altered. So that is leading to the false positive or false result are very high if it is not collected in a dark bottle. So UV fluorescence, that is generally utilized for the detection of this particular porphyrin. So when sample is under the UV fluorescence, sample will emit strong red fluorescence, and that is giving idea about the porphyria. So PBG, that is generally found or that is present in urine, and that can be detected by the Ehrlich's reagent. So this Ehrlich's reagent, that is helpful to detect porphobilinogen in the urine. So generally AIP, that is acute intermittent porphyria, in that particular condition, and it is most common acute type of porphyria where ALA and PBG, that level is increased in the urine. Now further you have to remember uroporphyrinogen, coproporphyrinogen and protoporphyrinogen, they are the intermediate of the heme synthesis, but they are the porphyrinogen. But when there is a sun exposure to the sunlight or in the presence of oxygen, they are accumulated, they will be further converted into the uroporphyrin, coproporphyrin and protoporphyrin. Now generally there is a methylene group in porphyrinogen, but this when uroporphyrin, coproporphyrin means porphyrin, it is containing methynyl group. So that is the only CH group is present, and they have absorption, they have one typical characteristic, they have absorption band near 400 nanometer, and this will be utilized for the detection of this particular porphyrin. Now further how to detect this particular porphyrin, that also possible. So they are absorbing light near 400 nanometer, but uroporphyrin, that is around 406, coproporphyrin around 400, and protoporphyrin, it is typically absorb light band of the 408 nanometer. So that can be very helpful for the detection of particular porphyria. Further, when you are going to diagnose porphyria, you have to remember that which are the most common variety in acute porphyria. Most common acute porphyria, that is acute intermittent porphyria. Most common adult or sporadic type of the porphyria, or most commonly we can say that it is roughly said 80% are the acquired variety of the porphyria, that is porphyria cutanea tarda. For the most common porphyria in the children, there it is the erythropoietic protoporphyria. Now exactly this which type of porphyria and how it is possible to detect, and why particular molecule is present in the urine, that also we will look. So X-linked porphyria, that is generally very rare in situation. DOS porphyria, that is also very rare, and these two are typically detected only by the detection of that mutation of that enzyme in chorionic villus or prenatal diagnosis, or sometime detection of this particular enzyme in the hepatic cell. So if you detect this particular mutation, then only it is most likely to possible diagnosis of that X-linked porphyria as well as DOS porphyria. But further that UPG1 synthase enzyme deficiency, that can lead to the acute intermittent porphyria. Now here that AIP, that is also possible to diagnose with the indication of ALA and PBG in the urine. Overall level of ALA and PBG increase in the urine. So simply now you can understand why in acute intermittent porphyria these two level is increased, because this enzyme is inhibited, so further PBG is not able to convert into the hydroxymethylbilan. So these two molecule will be accumulated in the blood, and that will also reflected in the urine. Further, congenital erythropoietic porphyria, what happened here, that congenital erythropoietic porphyria, so hydroxymethylbilan level will be increased. Now further it will be shifted for the spontaneous UPG1 synthesis, so uroporphyrinogen 1, and from that uroporphyrinogen 1 to the uroporphyrin level will also increase in this UPG3 co-synthase enzyme deficiency, and that is also giving idea. Now UPG3 is further converted into the CPG3, but in porphyria cutanea tarda, which is the most common variety of the sporadic type of the porphyria, and that enzyme deficiency that lead to the increased accumulation of uroporphyrin in the urine. But Now you have to remember that if CpG oxidase deficiency, which is leading to the hereditary coproporphyria, here both UP and CP means uroporphyrin and coproporphyrin both level will be increased. Same way porphyria variegata, what happened? There is a porphyria variegata, so all over PPG, CpG and UPG level is increased. So protoporphyrin, coproporphyrin and uroporphyrin level is increased. Now lastly, that heme synthase or ferrochelatase enzyme deficiency, and which is leading to the erythropoietic porphyria. In this condition also all these particular molecule will be increased, particularly protoporphyrin, that's coproporphyrin, uroporphyrin level will be increased, as well as there is an increased level of ALA and PBG is also there, because that heme which is feedback inhibiting this particular enzyme is feedback mechanism is not there. So ALA PBG level as well as protoporphyrin and coproporphyrin, that will be also increased in the urine as well as in the blood. So hepatic porphyria are typically symptomatic in adult. Now whenever you are going to diagnosis, you don't have to only depend on the laboratory finding, you also have to particularly look over the symptoms, and it will give just 50% idea which type of porphyria will be there, and some particular condition that will give clear idea mostly this porphyria will be there. So you have to further confirm by the laboratory investigation. But hepatic porphyria are symptomatic in adult. So which are the hepatic porphyria? You have to remember these three are the particularly hepatic porphyria. They are the acute intermittent porphyria, hereditary coproporphyria and porphyria variegata. So here UPG1 synthase enzyme deficiency, here CpG oxidase and PPG oxidase. Now all these three are the autosomal dominant variety. So that will also give some idea about the family history. So family history, that will also give idea about the porphyria, diagnosis of the porphyria. Now erythroid porphyria are mostly seen after birth. So you have to keep in mind erythroid, they are generally after birth. So immediately after birth any patient is there, then it is mostly variety of the erythroid porphyria, and that is congenital erythropoietic porphyria or erythroid protoporphyria, and both are the autosomal recessive. So that will also give idea about the family history. So you have to remember that autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, and that will give clue about the diagnosis of the porphyria. Further, congenital erythropoietic porphyria, and it is typically erythroid variety just seen after the birth. So here what is seen? Non-immune hydrops fetalis. So that particular seen in the particular congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Most common erythroid porphyria, that is erythroid protoporphyria. But whenever there is a congenital erythroid porphyria, this non-immune hydrops fetalis, as well as due to presence of this porphyrin, pink diaper. So generally in a newborn baby there is a diaper is there, so pink diaper, that will give also idea if child is somewhat around 2 to 3 years, then there is a particular teeth and teeth have a particular red color fluorescence, and that is giving erythrodontia, and that will also give idea about the congenital erythropoietic porphyria. So just after birth there is a erythroid variety, but mostly in adult, that is acute intermittent porphyria, hereditary coproporphyria and porphyria variegata. Now frequently seen with the HIV and hepatitis C, that is Porphyria cutanea tarda. Now this Porphyria cutanea tarda, it is mostly seen, considered as a sporadic variety of the porphyria, and it is most common in the adult. So when there is an adult patient, here you have to remember that if adult patient and particularly photosensitivity seen is along with the blistering symptoms, so blister over the back of the hand, and that will typically give idea about the Porphyria cutanea tarda, and it is frequently seen along with the HIV and hepatitis C. So if it is giving signal or patient is giving history of hepatitis C and HIV and adult, and that will give clue about the Porphyria cutanea tarda. Further confirm that is possible by only analysis of the enzyme mutation. Now further, suppose symptoms is typically neurovascular symptoms is there, so then you have to remember that mostly ALA and PBG in the urine, because acute intermittent porphyria and dose porphyria, they are giving symptoms just like a neurovascular, they are not showing any cutaneous photosensitivity. In that you can go with the ALA, means delta aminolevulinic acid, and PBG porphobilinogen level in the urine, and that will give idea about the whether it is elevated, then it will give clue about whether it is AIP or the DOS porphyria. Now cutaneous photosensitivity, you have to remember that plasma porphyrin level, that will be increased. So if there is a cutaneous photosensitivity is there, so for the cutaneous photosensitivity means even there is a blistering skin lesions are there, then you have to go with the particular plasma porphyrin level, either coproporphyrin, protoporphyrin, uroporphyrin, and that will give idea whether it is Porphyria cutanea tarda, erythropoietic protoporphyria, X-linked porphyria, or congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Now for the CEP, you can remember that erythrodentia, and for the young child there is a pink diaper, and that will give clue about the congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Now both the type, neurovascular as well as cutaneous photosensitivity, will be seen with the hereditary coproporphyria and porphyria variegata. So you have to remember that these type of symptoms are also seen when there is a neurovascular and cutaneous photosensitivity, both are seen. It is typically with the hereditary coproporphyria or porphyria variegata. So prenatal diagnosis by enzyme activity in chorionic villus and amniotic cell, that will also give idea about the particular porphyria. So if some particular couple is need to know whether there is a porphyria in the child or in the fetus, then it is possible to by prenatal diagnosis by knowing that enzyme activity from the chorionic villus and amniotic cell. Further, this hepatic porphyria, which are mostly acute in variety, you are already knowing that AIP, HCP and PV, that is porphyria variegata. But these neurovascular symptoms are particularly abdominal pain, vomiting, weakness, insomnia, peripheral neuropathy, psychosis. They are most common. So how to handle it? You have to take care that avoid starvation, because that starvation, that is leading to the particular precipitation attack of the porphyria. So acute intermittent porphyria, they are generally activated when there is a particular starvation. So you have to advise patient to avoid starvation and avoid that decreasing glucose level. So if glucose level is immediately given, means glucose infusion, that will give relief of that all symptoms. So that is one of the management of this porphyria. So you have to take care of that particular starvation that is leading to the precipitating attack of the porphyria. So if you provide glucose, that will helping to relieve that symptoms which are most commonly seen, like abdominal pain, vomiting and weakness. Further, remove the precipitating factor. Suppose that particular poisoning effect is there lead, or if person is taking excessive alcohol, even estrogen, that will also lead to the precipitate this attack of the porphyria. So you have to remove that precipitating factor. For the lead, mercury, drug, ethanol like precipitating factor, that you have to remember. Remove as well as symptomatic treatment, that is the main goal of that particular this porphyria. So as a symptomatic treatment, you have to remember beta carotene, that can be used to protect against that sunlight exposure. So if that beta carotene is utilized, that will helping to decrease overall symptoms of the cutaneous photosensitivity. Now gene therapy is also tried in the particularly acute intermittent porphyria as well as congenital erythropoietic porphyria. So that is about the gene therapy. So mostly that complementary DNA or particular RNA interference, that can be given to decrease overall activity of the enzyme, but the mostly complementary DNA is given to activate hydroxymethylbilin synthase enzyme, which is given as a gene therapy, and that will be helpful to relieve that episode of the acute intermittent porphyria. So that's all about the diagnosis as well as management of the porphyria.